This video is sponsored by UNBOUND MERINO. We've been traveling with one bag for over 10 years. In that time, we have learned a lot about how to pack efficiently and travel with less.
In this video, we'll show you what's in our travel backpacks and how we pack them to maximize space for one bag travel. If you want to see what's in our slings, we've already made a video about that. Tom, how about you kick things off?
Let's get into it. Most of these items are on our digital nomad packing list, so make sure to check that out if you want more details on specific products. For a bag, I like to go with the Evergood CTB 35 for a couple of reasons. First is the harness system. I really like that this curves around to my back, especially when it's full. Some bags can start to sag, but this thing stays nice and locked in. One complaint some people have is that there's no mesh on the back panel here, but personally, I just think your back gets sweaty anyways. Next up is the bucket. I love how easy this thing is to fill with packing cubes, DOP kits, and tech kits. Everything just fits really nicely in here and I can get all the gear I need right inside. Next, I love the amount of organization in this thing. It is the perfect amount for me. I can just put items in these little pockets that don't fit into a pouch or a packing cube. And it's not a bunch of extra admin panels and things all over the place since I usually use pouches and packing cubes when I pack. Starting with the good stuff, socks and underwear. I always get merino wool for both of these items. They are antimicrobial and don't retain a ton of odors, and that's great for travel. Next up for t-shirts, I'm always going merino with these two. This one specifically from Outlier is the Dream Weight version, so it's super thin, and I can pack about 3 of these. Next up we have button-ups, because it's nice to look a little nice sometimes. So I have a long sleeve Oxford style that I can use to go to maybe a nicer meal or something that requires a little bit more dress. And then I've been loving these thinner short sleeve button-ups from like Lululemon, for example. They dry really quickly based on the material, and I just love wearing these like by the pool or something like that. Next up, a sweater that looks semi-decent as well. Not only does this help keep me warm if I'm just layering up all of my gear that I use when it's a little bit colder, but it also looks nice too. So here are 3 different pairs of pants. Here, I like these Lululemons for a bit nicer of occasions. They have a ton of colorways in these too. These khakis tend to go well with any of the tops over here. Next up, my daily drivers, whether I'm traveling or just wearing these every day at home, the Outlier Slim Dungarees. I know the Slims are a little bit chuggy, but they also have a regular version now, just like their regular dungarees, but it's a little more fabric, so a little bit harder to pack. It's gonna take me a lot to get to those from these Slims, but I love these. I've been wearing these for like over a decade. They're incredible travel pants. Next up, these are a new addition from Proof, but it's nice to have a bit of a stretchier pant that also looks good. I really love wearing these on the plane because they look great and I'm not just wearing like sweatpants, and they also wash really well and dry really quickly. Next up on the short side of things, I'll start with these two that are both submergible. So this is a pair from Proof, this is a pair from Outlier. I like the versatility of these because I can just wear them day to day, but also if I want to go for a spontaneous swim, either of these will work and they can function as swim trunks as well because each of them have a little drawstring on the inside. Next up, I have this pair from 10,000. These are my more active shorts, whether I'm going for a run or going to the gym, but they are very small, thin, and packable. So it's easy to bring a couple if needed, if I'm gonna be working out multiple days on my trip. For jackets, I like to layer these up together, but they can each be used individually as well. First up, the Patagonia Nano Puff packs into itself, keeps me warm to about 55 degrees and under. I've been using this thing for probably about a decade at this point. Really solid jacket. And then this is a rain jacket from Kettle that's packable. I always look for a rain jacket that's packable because I just find it so much easier to manage. But this one from Kettle has been great. I've had it on a couple of trips and it's performed super well, and it's nice and compact too. For gloves and a buff, these help a ton for keeping me warm, but I like that they don't take up a lot of space because I don't use them that often. So the buff is really nice here. As if a buff couldn't get any smaller, this is like a micro half-size version that I just put around my neck, wear it as a scarf. And then these gloves as well from Patagonia are really good and nice and packable. They're super stretchy. Lauren and I can actually wear the same size, which is really great. And then the little tech pressure points on the fingers actually work well because that can be a problem with a lot of gloves too. So definitely find one that works for you and you can operate your tech with, because it's great to have that ability even when you're wearing gloves. For a belt, I love this one from Arcade. It is all plastic, so I can usually get right through TSA without taking it off. And then it's stretchy and comfortable too. So it's not super stiff. It's not like digging into me as I'm sitting on a plane for hours at a time. Next up for a hat, this one from Getaway is great because it just folds in half and packs away easily. I know sometimes hats can be a little difficult to travel with if they're more structured or you're worried about crumpling them up. Some people also just hang them on the outside of their bag with a carabiner. That works too, but I just love stuffing this in my bag when I'm not using it. Next, I really love traveling with a hoodie. This one layers really well with everything else you've already seen on the clothing side, including the jackets. And this is also merino wool, so it insulates very nicely. This specific one from UNBOUND is one of the most packable and smallest hoodies that I've found. We've tested a ton of different hoodies, and this one just takes the cake. I have it in just about every colorway, and I wear it daily when it's cold here in Michigan, and then also bring it along with me when I travel. Next up for sandals, I always look for footwear that's flat and packable. These go into a shoe pouch and just go to the bottom of my bag. But shoes and a jacket, I think, is where you lose the most space when you're packing. So if you can really flatten these out and find a pair of sandals like this, it's gonna really help your packing game. These ones from Zero are great, and I've had plenty of other I've tested and tried over the years too. Next up, we have packing cubes and a shoe pouch. Some people don't like these, but it really makes a difference in compressing your gear when you're packing, and it just makes it a lot easier to deal with. So these ones from Peak Design I've used for years at this point. I've got the shoe pouch here where these flat sandals go in, they just go to the bottom of the bag. And then I have two packing cubes I usually use. I like that they're different colors so I can tell them apart. Some packing cubes have mesh tops, which are great so you can see what's inside, but I'll typically throw my tops in this one and my bottoms in this one, and it just works out really well to keeping things organized when on the road. As you can tell, merino wool is a huge part of my wardrobe. It's an ideal travel fabric for a few key reasons. It's naturally temperature regulating, keeping you cool in the heat and warm in the cold. Plus, it stays fresh longer than other materials, so you don't have to wash it as frequently. This allows me to bring less clothing, saving me valuable packing space inside of my bag. The clothing will last for a while as long as you care for it properly, which is pretty easy. Just don't throw it in the dryer. That's no big deal since merino wool dries quickly, which is another great benefit. UNBOUND Merino has been one of my go-to merino wool clothing brands for a number of years. If you've seen our Digital Nomad packing list, then this brand will definitely look familiar. From tees to hoodies to button-ups, they have simple, versatile apparel with a timeless style, so you won't have to invest in new items every season. Each staple piece works together to create a capsule wardrobe, so I'm never short on outfit combinations. I also appreciate UNBOUND Merino's commitment to ethical sourcing from family-owned farms and paying garment workers a fair wage. If you want to pack lighter for your next trip, head over to UNBOUND Merino's site using the link down in the description below if you want to stock up in merino before your next trip. Now back to the gear. So I work a lot when I travel. I know this is a lot of tech. You might not have this much when you go, and I think that's completely fine, but I'll go over the items and why I use them. For a laptop, this is the MacBook Pro 16-inch. It is the biggest MacBook Pro you can get. I like it. I just need a lot of power for work, things like that. I like to pop it into the Matador base layer too. It's got a handle on it, which is really nice. And I really like having a separate sleeve like this so that I can put the laptop under the seat in front of me or just take this out if I'm going to the coffee shop or something like that. I don't need to bring an entire bag. Next up, some accessories for the MacBook. I've got a keyboard here, a nice neoprene keyboard sleeve to keep my keyboard nice and tidy. And then we have a mouse and a laptop stand. I like this for a little bit more of an ergonomic setup while I'm traveling. If I just have like an hour of work to do or something, I'll just use a laptop. But if I'm planning to set up for the day in a coffee shop or at my Airbnb, then I bust all these out and get my full remote work setup going for a full day of work. I have a Swiss Army knife cable from InCharge. This is the XS, but this will allow me to use basically any cable. So we have Lightning on here, USB-C, USB-A, and then combos of each. So that's really great for travel, not only for my gear, but I like to have it in case I'm helping someone else maybe charge their phone or transfer some data too. I don't love the headphones that airlines typically provide, so this is a must if I'm watching a movie or something on the plane with the in-flight entertainment system. This allows me to use my AirPods and connect them wirelessly to those seat back displays, which is really great. These three items are a bit of a backup, so I have a really small flash drive here, a USB-A to USB-C dongle that the InCharge doesn't cover, and then a USB-C to a headphone jack in case I lose my AirPods or my wireless headphones and I need to just grab very cheap corded headphones to use my phone with. I don't use these 3 items a lot, but when I do, they come in handy. The flash drive I've used to print off a last minute visa at a print shop inside of the airport. And then this Ugreen USB-A to USB-C just gets used if there's only a USB-A port available, maybe in like a hotel on like the desktop like console or something like that. Next up, the Road Warrior adapter is great. It's super compact. It covers just about every outlet in the world, and it lets me plug in my big anchor charger here because it's just 2-prong, which I like. This is great. It's like a little transformer. I mean, you just plug it in anywhere. This big anchor charger is the one charger to rule them all for me. Although it's big and heavy, it's square shape, makes it very easy to pack, and there's just a ton of different ports on the front there. I really like it, and I love that the cord detaches as well. It makes it a lot easier to pack because this is just like a brick, then you roll this up and set it somewhere else, and it's just a very compact item. Next up, my Oura Ring. I like the ability to track my sleep and just see what affects it and also track my exercise. Along with this ring comes a really bulky specialized charger. I don't love packing this, but it is one of those specialized items that I allow myself, and it fits relatively well inside of a DOP kit as it's decently flat except for this kind of nub that comes up on the top. So that's been a must for me. A lot of these smaller accessories go inside of the Air Pro Kit here. I just love the way the organization lays out. It's pretty much perfect for me. We got mesh pockets, they're all stretchy. I throw the cords in here, that big anchor thing goes in the back here. And everything I have just fits in here really nicely. Your mileage may vary because I know this is a lot of tech, but for me, it's pretty much the perfect tech kit to travel with. All right, let's start with some toiletry tools. So this is the Quip toothbrush. I really like this thing because it's nice and compact. It's like the smallest electric toothbrush that you can get. Some of these are a little bit long and they don't fit into a DOP kit nicely, but this one does, and we've tried a bunch of them. Manual toothbrush also works, but I just like a little bit of electric going on. Next up, a razor. This one is about half the length of a normal size razor, which I like. I try to get everything as small and compact and tight as possible, but I also like that this is aluminum and it still provides like a metal, nice feel while I'm shaving. And it also takes standard Gillette cartridges, which you can find anywhere in the world. That is critical to refill no matter where you go. And it keeps you from needing to bring a bunch of extra razor heads if you're gonna be traveling for a long amount of time. Nail clippers and tweezers, I just went with the smallest version that I can find. I don't use these that often, so when I do, it is nice to just pull them out of the bag and have them handy at all times. They're super small and packable too, which I dig. Going in the same vein of finding the smallest, most packable items, this is just a small travel towel. It is bath towel size, but still, I can get away with it at the beach if there's none provided by like a resort or hotel or wherever I am. It's nice because I can just grab this and go to the beach whenever I want to. And then I have a little headband here, which is great for when my hair gets a little bit longer, maybe I'm on a run or something like that. I don't use it all the time, just when my hair is a bit longer. So this one from Nike is great. And then this is the Toiletries body scrubber. It's made out of silicone, and I like it because I can take a shower and then check out of my hotel 5 minutes later. Dries super fast, and I really, really dig that. Moving on to some toiletry consumables. This one from Crystal Deodorant goes a long way. It's just a little rock that's used as deodorant. So this lasts a lot longer than traditional sticks, and it travels well. It's also not a liquid, so it's very easy to pack. Very easy to bring it through TSA. I like this Dr. Bronner's soap because it is highly concentrated compared to most other soaps. There's a ton of different uses for it too. You can wash your hair, you can wash your body. Some people even wash their dishes with it. I've even heard of some people, I don't know if it's a rumor, but they'll brush their teeth with it. Not for me personally, but it's highly concentrated, so 1 bar is gonna go a very long way compared to a lot of average soaps that you can just get at the grocery store. I have this soap bar case from Matador where it goes into, also dries really fast, similar to the Toiletries scrubber. And then for anything liquid like lotion, I use a Human Gear Go Tube. It's just nice to have this separate. It stays locked in here very nicely. It's never leaked on me. And I really like this thing for travel. Packs really nicely into DOP kits as well. Also from Human Gear, I have the Go Tub, and that's gonna hold my hair pomade. And then I have this little pill case from Matador where I just put like daily multivitamins or anything I wanna take with me when I'm traveling. and then this toothpaste tube. The reasons why I like these items over here is that you're always packing the same size. So as I get different hair pomade, it's all going in here. It's all the same size. I know that it's all gonna fit into here perfectly. Same with these two, and then I'm not using a bunch of travel size tubes and just throwing them away. I'm kind of reusing this one from a larger tube, which I dig. And then this as well. I don't have a bunch of different like, you know, pill containers or things like that. It all just goes into here, and I know exactly what I'm packing. It allows me to remove that variable from the equation and always know that as long as everything fits in here, it's gonna fit in my DOP kit too. Next up, the Chicago comb. If you watch this channel, you already know, but it is the smallest, lightest, and most durable comb that we have found to date. Works really well for styling my hair, and I just love traveling with it. It's super light, very durable. I've used it for years. For containers, I usually put everything directly into the Air DOP Kit 3 right here, but I also keep a quart-size baggie just in case TSA wants me to separate. I have pre-check and clear, so I usually just get through with everything right inside of here. But again, I really like this. It's got that wedge shape, so it packs really well on top of the Air Pro Kit where my tech is, and everything just fits super nicely inside of here. Again, perfect size with these containers. I know the size of everything. It fits in really nicely. And I just love the organization options in here. It's not too much and just ends up being perfect for what I need. All right, here are a couple of other miscellaneous accessories that I like to travel with, starting with this water bottle, or rather a water bag. It doesn't have any insulation in it, but it is super compact. I realize I'm in the minority here. A lot of people like to carry water bottles when they travel. We've done a YouTube poll. If you just look around in the office, most people carry a water bottle as well. But for me, I care less about cold water, and I don't use one that often. So this is nice to have, and I typically have it stowed away in my bag until I need it. Next up, a packable backpack. These are kind of tough to get right. Some of them end up packing really small, but it really doesn't feel like a backpack. It can just feel like a plastic bag. And then others aren't packable at all, and they feel like a full-fledged backpack. This matter of packable backpack, it's called a Refraction. I think this hits the perfect balance of both of those worlds. It is still packable and compressible, but it still feels like a great backpack to use day to day while you're traveling. Like I said earlier, I am a pouches guy, so I love organizing my items inside of smaller pouches, and these Tom Bin Ghost Whale pouches are great for that. I believe this is the smallest size that they have, but I like it because I have basically the equivalent of my business cards in here. There's just some Pack Hacker patches and stickers. So if you ever see me out traveling, come up and say hello. I'll make sure to give you one of these. I do it all the time. And then I also have this little orange one, which I use as a first aid kit. I don't use this often, but it's nice to have a bunch of first aid items in here for when I do need them, whether it's just a Band-Aid for a blister or an antiseptic wipe for when someone decides it's a good idea to pick up a sea urchin. That actually happened, and it was very nice to have this thing. Next up, the Cartesian Cards One Deck. I like this thing. You can play a lot of different games with it. You can play chess, you can play checkers. It's just a regular deck of cards too, and it's a little bit smaller than a card deck. Might be a little bit of an over-optimization considering an average card deck is just a little bit larger, but I like the versatility of how many different games that you can play with this thing. And it's nice to have to make friends on the road, or if you have a travel companion, it's a good way to pass the time. Those are some of my most important items that I have in my travel bag. Now let's kick it over to Lauren to check out hers.
I travel with the Tom Bin Techonaut 30, and what I really like about this is specifically its organization. There's a lot of pockets on the outside here where I put all of my small items, and I like having that accessibility when I have a couple of tiny things that I want quick access to on the plane, or just while I'm going through the airport or something if I don't want to have everything directly in my sling. Another thing I really like is this shoe pouch, or the shoe compartment that's built in. When you open this up, you can see that it's a big empty compartment, but this actually unzips from the inside. So if I don't want to use this for shoes, I can open this up and have this entire space be part of the main compartment. So it's a kind of build your own adventure based off of if you're going to be bringing more shoes or if you're just going to be traveling with one pair of footwear. And then I also really love the harness system. For me, I like my bags to have a little bit more flexibility because it just adds comfort. If a bag is too stiff, sometimes it just feels a little bit unwieldy on me. And with these shoulder straps, they're super padded, very cushiony. There's a hideaway hip belt if I don't want to use it. It's not in the way. And it just feels very comfortable when I'm wearing this thing for hours, even when it's full. For undergarments, I go with merino wool whenever I can, specifically because it dries very quickly. So what I'll do is at the end of the day, I'll wash them in the sink or something, hang them up to dry, and then they're ready to use by the next morning, but they're clean. So I don't need to bring as many, whereas just like regular cotton underwear, I feel like doesn't dry or doesn't wash quite as well as easily when I'm on the road. So bra and underwear, I'll just kind of pack whatever I need based off the other clothing I have so that I make sure that the cuts match whatever tops and bottoms that I have. And then with socks, I'll do the same. I'll either bring a specific type of sock for whatever footwear I'm wearing, or I'll stick with merino wool as well if I'm just looking for something very general. When it comes to tops, I usually do 4 tank tops because I'm more likely to wear tank tops on a trip than I am just general t-shirts. When I'm traveling, I'm often going to warmer places and I run a little bit hot. So I'll pick 2 more basic t-shirts, something like this, just sort of like a ribbed design that I can wear with pretty much anything here. And then I'll go for something that is a little bit more technical. So both of these tops here, I could go on a hike in. This one is a little bit more formal as well, the way that the cut is. So I'll just pick a couple of different shirts based off of what I'm going to be doing. But 4 tank tops is usually enough to get me through whatever trip I'm doing. For t-shirts, I usually just bring 2 and different materials. One of them is merino wool, and that's so that I can wear it more days in a row without needing to worry about it being washed. But I don't usually love the fit and the cut of merino wool. I like my tops a little bit tighter. So I'll bring another top that does have more of a like slimmer fit because that's my style preference. But this one I can't wear as many days in a row. So I have the 2 t-shirts as options, and then the tank tops do great for pretty much any other thing, and I'll just rotate these out with any of the bottoms that I have. As for pants, I usually wear whatever is most comfortable on the plane. So I'll wear a pair of joggers or something similar, and then I'll use those for exercise while I'm out. I'll also sometimes do a pair of leggings. So these ones are good for if I'm going to be exercising or going on a hike or doing something a little bit more active, but they do pack down pretty small. So I go for a more like athletic blend material here, but there are merino options as well if that's more of your preference. I also have a thicker pair of jeans. I am a big fan of jeans when I'm traveling. That doesn't usually deter me. These ones from Abercrombie actually are pretty small. They pack down pretty well. So I've started traveling with these a lot. They have a bunch of different cuts, different types of colors, the whole thing. So I really have been liking theirs. But the thickness of jeans usually doesn't deter me. Sometimes I'll even wear those on the plane because they are the thickest pant, but I know that's pretty divisive wearing jeans on a plane. As for shorts, I bring 2 different pairs. So I've got a more casual one that I can wear on hikes or something like that, but they also look good just for everyday wear with any of these tops. And they also bring a little bit more of a formal one just because I like to be able to dress up a little bit, but not necessarily need to be wearing a dress specifically. Speaking of dresses, I do bring one of those. I keep it pretty small and packable. I don't usually wear dresses when I'm traveling, but I like to have the option. So I go for a material that packs down really well, but is still versatile enough that if I need to wear something over it, or even if I want to layer like a t-shirt under it or something, it'll still look good. And then last up is pajamas. I am a sleep comfort person, so I like to make sure that I feel as comfortable as I can when I'm sleeping wherever I am in the world. So in this case, I bring a pair of just basic sleep shorts from home and then an oversized t-shirt. This is my sleep uniform. I rarely wear anything else to bed. So in this case, I make sure that I bring those things so that it feels nice and at home. When it comes to outerwear, I always bring a thicker hoodie. This is a thick zip up that I wear on the plane, so I don't actually have to worry about getting this into my bag. I'm always cold when I'm in transit, so even if I'm carrying this outside of my travel backpack, I like to have it accessible because my temperature can fluctuate depending on where I am. So it is a little bit thicker. If I do want something thinner, they do make a women's version of the one that Tom uses, so I'll use that. But this is like, again, a creature comfort type of a thing. So I think it's okay when you're traveling to bring creature comforts. There's nothing wrong with that. For outerwear, I'm the same as Tom with the Nano Puff and the Kettle Rain jacket. They are just the smallest versions of these items that we've been able to find, and they do a great job at keeping you warm or dry. So they don't take up much room in your bag if you don't need them. If I do need a little extra warmth, I do have these gloves. These are the same as Tom, the R1 from Patagonia. Like he mentioned, these fit my hands and his hands, which is pretty impressive, but they just add a little bit of extra warmth when that breeze is a little bit too much. For hats, I do like the Getaway hat, but I've actually been bringing this one from home a lot. It does have a stiffer brim, so I like being able to shape it a little bit more to my head. I think I have a smaller head, so sometimes hat brims can look a little bit weird on me, but this one is really packable. It's just a workout hat, so it's a little bit more flexible than a traditional baseball cap. So it's been really easy to pack for me, but I still can manipulate that bill a little bit more. And then for shoes, I have these Chacos. You can see that they are well loved. I do bring these pretty much on any trip. I wear them all summer long, and they are a couple years old now and they're still in pretty great shape. I like these because I can hike in them and I'm comfortable, or I can walk around all day in them and I'm comfortable. So whatever shoe and sandal feels comfortable for you, that's priority. But I do like that these still, even though they have a little bit of extra support, are pretty packable, and they do pack pretty flat without being barefoot shoes specifically. As for packing cubes, if I am going to use them, I'm with Tom with the Peak Design packing cubes because they're just a really great option. But for myself personally, with all the items I have here, it fits perfectly into my bag without needing extra cubes. If I were going to pack more items, I'd probably start adding cubes in there. The only thing I would potentially add is a shoe pouch. In my case, my travel backpack has that dedicated compartment, so I don't need it. But for something like sandals, if you're going to stick them in with your clothing, I would recommend putting it in some type of bag to keep the dirt away. If I'm going to be working on the road, my setup is pretty similar to Tom's, but when I'm not digital nomading, this is the charging setup and the tech setup that I have. It's pretty simple. I have one charger for my phone. My phone attaches here, and then I have my AirPods can charge back here, and my Apple Watch charges back there. There's just a little attachment that plugs in, and I set it up on the table, on my bedside table next to me, plug it in with this cable that's included into the Anchor wall charger, and then at the end of the day, I put all of my devices in one spot, and then they charge up overnight and they're ready for the next day. Unfortunately, my phone battery is not what it used to be, so even though I used to not travel with a portable charger or a battery bank, now I do. So in this case, I bring that along. This one is MagSafe, so I don't need to bring a cable, but it does have a place to plug one in if I want to charge something that's not my phone. In that case, this is where the InCharge comes in handy. This is the same one that Tom has, and it has all of the different attachment points and the different adapters so that I can charge basically any device from here. Next up is my Kindle. This actually doesn't go into my tech pouch. This goes into either my travel backpack or my sling, but reading on the road is a huge part of my life. I'm always making sure that I have a book on me and I have something to read, so my Kindle is definitely an essential. As for all the small tech, that goes into the split kit from Air. So this top bit opens up. You can see it's a decent size pouch on the inside. I actually can fit everything over here inside of here without needing to expand it. But if I do need to bring a bit more tech, maybe I'm adding on my laptop charger or something like that, then I can open up this bottom and it turns actually into like a little standing pouch. So that's great for storage, but what I really like about it is how flat it is. Because I don't have that much tech, I just need to keep it organized in one little spot in my bag, and it's easy to access whenever I need it. For toiletries, I kind of think of them split down the middle into two different types. It's going to be all of my liquids that go into a liquid container and then all of the makeup. But starting with the liquids, so this is something that I bring on every trip. I usually just leave it packed into my 311 bag. I like this 311 bag a lot because it is completely rectangular, so it stands up on its own, and I feel like I get more packable space versus like just a regular Ziploc that kind of goes angular and then points up at the top. So I have a lot of items that kind of pack well together, mostly these Cadence capsules. With the Cadence capsules, these are all of the toiletries that I bring on any trip. I have face moisturizer, I have styling cream for my hair, I have body wash, conditioner, body moisturizer, cleanser, and shampoo. Some of these items I will leave behind if I know I'm not going to be washing my hair or something and it's only going to be an overnight or a couple of days. I'll just take the shampoo out, take the conditioner out, and then stack these together. And I like that because it's a very buildable storage inside of my DOP kit. And I usually don't need more than what's inside of these containers, but they are still TSA safe and TSA approved, so you're not gonna have any issues going through security. On top of that is my regular skincare. So I always use a squalane just for extra moisturizing. This I just keep in its container because it is TSA safe. Same with this azelaic acid. This is another thing that I use pretty regularly. So depending on what type of skincare you do, just making sure that whatever bottles they're in are TSA friendly is gonna be the biggest thing. In my case, all of them are, so I don't have any issues. I also do this new SPF I've been trying, and I actually really like it, so I'm gonna keep using this one. And again, comes in a TSA friendly bottle. And I do like that it is a little bit more squat and compact, because some of the face sunscreens can get really like long and be awkward to pack, but this one has been really nice and easy to pack inside of that more rectangular shaped bag. Another thing I really like to bring is this loofah. It is part loofah and part washcloth. It's kind of a creature comfort, but it adds a little bit of exfoliation while I'm on a trip, if I'm going to be doing a lot of active activities. And some countries don't include a washcloth sized towel inside of their bathrooms, so I like to bring one along just in case I need it. My toothbrush is pretty basic. I don't bring along an electric one. I just go with this gum toothbrush because it folds into itself and it's really packable. I also leave it inside of my 311 kit at all times so that I always know I'm bringing it on a trip. I am notorious for forgetting to pack my toothbrush in the morning because I brush my teeth and then forget to put it in my bag. So I always make sure that I have this on hand, and I like that it is so packable. I also bring a small travel size of whatever toothbrush or toothpaste I have. In this case, I am running low on all of my little free samples I've gotten, so I think I'm gonna switch over to that Matador toothpaste tube and just squeeze some of my at-home toothpaste in there, and then I know that that's always full and ready to go when I need it. Dental floss is another big thing for me. I always make sure that I have that. I actually, for the first time in years, had to buy my own dental floss, and it was very strange. Usually I just get it from the dentist. So I just take whatever I have. I'm not particularly picky about the brand or anything, but I just make sure that it's a small package, nothing too crazy. Deodorant for me is another thing that I would like to size down on, but I actually just grabbed the one from home and I put this in my bag. I usually don't put it into either my 311 bag or another pouch. I'll just stick it right into my bag directly. But this is something that I am also notorious for forgetting. So I have a list of items that I pack the morning of, and this is on it. I obviously wear glasses, but when I'm on a trip, I like to wear my contacts pretty much every day. So I have the one-a-day contacts. What I end up doing is I just bring however many I need for however many days my trip is. So if it's a 10-day trip, I bring at least 10, and I'll usually pack a couple extra just in case when I'm taking them out it tears or something or falls out of my eye, then I don't have to commit to wearing glasses one day when I didn't want to. I'll also bring 2 different types of eye drops. This one is actually an allergy eye drop, so I only use this once a day. And then for the clear eyes, these are ones that I can use throughout the day. So I make sure that I have a couple different options because I am prone to dry eye. As for toiletry tools, I do like to bring whatever razor I have from home because I like something that feels a little bit more solid in my hand since I'm going to be using it almost every day. There are very packable versions of razors that are compatible with heads you can find anywhere in the world, so you don't necessarily need to go with this larger handle. For me, it's just a preference. I also always bring a pair of tweezers so that I can keep my brows in check or maybe remove any splinters. I'm not very picky about this. I just make sure it's something small so that it's not taking up too much room in my bag or is too heavy. And I also bring a pair of nail clippers. I like to bring toenail clippers because then you can actually trim your toes with them if you have to, and they work for your nails, whereas nail clippers may not be strong enough to trim your toenails. So I go big or go home. And the last 2 essentials that make it on every trip regardless are my hairbrush, which is a nice tiny little packable hairbrush. This does the job for me just getting tangles out, but if you need a specific hairbrush for your hair, definitely bring that along. And then I bring a little container for my medications. So this is just gonna be like ibuprofen or something like that. If I do have specific medications, I usually bring them in the bottle that I get them in. Makeup is something that I don't bring on every trip because I don't wear it every day, but when I do bring it, I put it in a separate pouch. So this pouch here I've actually had for I think probably 10 or 15 years at this point, and it's still going strong, so I'm still using it. But I bring what my makeup routine is. If you wear more makeup, then you're gonna wanna bring whatever you bring to be comfortable throughout the day. In my case, I just bring a skin tint, I bring a blush, I bring a contour palette, and then the brushes to go with both of those things. I am kind of in the boat of still applying makeup with my hands, which I know is not a great thing, but I think it does save you packing a couple tools, which is nice. I also have this brow lift gel, with a little spoolie, which does a great job for me for just keeping my eyebrows a little bit neater, and then a primer as well so that everything stays throughout the day. And everything just goes inside of this pouch here. Everything in this pouch just stays in there. I have a bunch of bobby pins and hair ties and things like that. So when I'm on the road, I'm never short on what I need and I can get my hair into place, but it just hangs out at the bottom there and then I don't have to remember to pack it. As you can see, I don't pack a ton of miscellaneous items. However, any additional items I do bring are very similar to Tom's, whether it's the games or a first aid kit or something similar. The things that are specific to me are I am actually a big fan of water bottles, so I need that insulation. I want something a little bit bigger. I am going to be filling this up whenever I can when I'm traveling. This is the bottle that I've been using for I think the last like 6 months or so, or maybe even a little bit less, but I have been loving this. I'm a huge Awala user. I've been using those for years, and I like this one because it's nice, like big handle, is very easy to carry. So when I'm walking around for like hours and hours on end, it's not uncomfortable to hold. I have beat it up a little bit. I recently dented the bottom. It's still in great working order, but I think this is something that is really nice for me because water is such a priority for me when I'm traveling. And then over here you can see I have 2 different glasses cases. So this one is actually for my regular glasses, and the reason I don't use the sunglasses case for my regular glasses and just swap them out is because this one provides a little bit of extra protection. With my regular daily glasses, I don't want to risk them being crushed too flat, so I like to have a little bit of extra padding there. And then when I'm not wearing them, I can put them in there and tuck them away. And then when I'm wearing my sunglasses, I've got this tiny little case to go with my flatter regular sunglasses, and these can go very easily into my sling bag or something like that, and I don't have to worry about leaving my regular glasses unprotected back in my accommodations. So there's everything we pack in our travel bags. Is there anything you do differently? Let us know in the comments below. We're always looking for new ideas. We'll see you in the next one.